Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another video dedicated to IELTS speaking cue card questions. In this video again, I'm going to answer another IELTS cue card question and I prepared the sample answer by myself. Before we dive into the main content of the video, let me briefly tell you about myself because there might be some newcomers, there might be some new subscribers who don't know me very well. I am Gulora Muzaffarova, an English teacher from Uzbekistan, and to show you my current level of English, let me show you my IELTS certificate. This is my IELTS certificate, and as you can see, I took it for about 2 years ago, and I am from Uzbekistan. These are my current test results. My listening and reading were both 9, my writing was 7.5, and speaking was 8, and my oral band score was 8.5, which is equal to CFR level C2. So this is a real certificate. As you can see, there are like stamps and signatures. Now, let's go back to the main content of the video, the question. But before we start, let me remind that please don't learn my answers by heart. This is not for learning them word by word. You can just learn some new words, phrases, or get some ideas from my speech, but don't learn it by heart because you will be penalized for learning answers by heart. Okay, the question is, describe an important piece of news you received via text message. A very interesting question indeed. And we have 4 sub-questions. Our sub-questions are, who shared the message, and what was the news about, and how was it written? And finally, you need to explain why was the news important. And these are my notes, which I took during 1 minute before speaking. And so I'm going to talk about an SMS from testing center in our country. It was about being accepted to a university, and I got my oral test results, which helped me to get a scholarship via this text message. So I'm going to talk about this text message in my speech. So just a photo to draw your attention. This is the script of my speech. I've already written down the script for you because you can listen to my speech at the same time and read the scripts. This helps you to understand me much better. If you're ready, let's get started. In our country, Uzbekistan, all students who finish school take exams, and exam results determine whether they will be accepted to university or not. It's a prestige to study at university without taking a gap year in our Uzbek society. Thus, all youngsters study hard to pass these exams. I also studied for about 2 years before the exam. I learned 3 subjects. I learned English, literature, and history. English was my major subject, thus I put maximum effort into it. I remember those days I used to burn the candle at both ends because acing these tests was my first priority. Thus I restricted spending time with friends or on other secondary things. At last, the time came and I took the exam. Then I had to wait for about 2 weeks to get my exam results, and it seemed like ages for me. There were 2 ways of getting the results. First, by a text message from the testing center, and second was receiving a Y post. Of course, the text message was way quicker, thus I opted for an SMS. I clearly remember I used to check my phone every 10 minutes or so those days. And one day early in the morning, I got a text message when I was asleep. So the first thing when I saw when I opened my eyes was this message. And it said, I got a very high score and was granted a scholarship. And I was over the moon. And I was jumping with joy like a little kid. When I told my parents this great news, they couldn't contain their tears of happiness. This moment was unforgettable because this was one of my first achievements in life, and I took my first step towards my adult life, and it was successful. This is the end. Now we're going to discuss words and expressions which are highlighted in red in the scripts. So let's start. Words and expressions used in the speech. One of the first words which I used in my speech was determine. Determine is often used in passive voice, and it means to control or to influence something directly, and it helps to decide what will happen. It decides what will happen. Example, The number of stuff we can take on will be determined by how much money we're allowed to spend. Or the example which I used in my speech was, the exam results of school leavers determine whether they will be accepted to a university or not. So it will decide whether they will be accepted or not in this meaning. And I use it like phrase in my speech, burn the candle at both ends. To burn the candle at both ends, it means to work or do other things from early in the morning until late at night, and so you get a very little rest. So when I was studying for my exams, I remember I used to burn the candle at both ends. Another word which is related to testers is ace. Ace, it's informal, it's used often in US, and it means to do very well in an examination. Example, I was up all night studying, but it was worth it. I aced my chemistry final. So if you ace your test, you're gonna do it very, very well in the exam. Other words and expressions, opt. Opt, it means to make a choice, especially for one thing or possibility in preference to any other. So because it's a better choice, you chose it. This is opting. Mike opted for early retirement. So I opted for a tech semester because it was way quicker. So if you opt for something, you make a choice because it's better than other options. Oh, by the way, the word option comes from the verb opt. Another expression which I used in my speech was to be over the moon. To be over the moon, it means to be very, very pleased. Example, she was over the moon with her new bike or about her new bike. So very, very happy and pleased. Contain. Contain, there are several meanings of contain, but the meaning which I used in my speech, it means to control or hide emotions such as excitement or anger, usually about negative things, but can be positive as well. Example, she could no longer contain her anger and shouted at him uncontrollably. So contain emotions, contain tears, contain excitement. It means to control and to hide your strong emotions. So this is all which I was going to explain in my speech. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you liked the video, please support me by subscribing to my channel and hit the like button and the notification bell in order not to miss next videos, because I'm gonna answer a lot of IELTS speaking cue card questions on my channel. And also please share the video with people who are studying for IELTS, because these videos might come in handy for them. So once again, thank you very much for watching the video and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next videos.